gentlemen. Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 et sec. Of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Nora, please call the roll.
Mr. Berkowitz.
I'm here.
Mr. Jaskowitz.
Here.
Mr. Kaplan.
Here.
Mr. Passarella.
Here.
Mr. Parikh.
Here.
Mr. Reddy.
Present.
Ms. Snyder.
Here.
Mr. Willand.
Here.
Chairman Irakin.
Present.
We also have our board planner, Mr. Chadwick,
Present.
board engineer, Mr. Holloway, and our board attorney, Mr. King.
Let's start off with the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point in this evening's meeting, is there any member of the public that has anything to be brought to this board that is not on this evening's agenda? I hear none, see none. Any correspondence, Nora? No? No,
Just
okay.
resolutions.
Resolution, 2182 to withdraw. I guess we ought to read the withdrawals separate, right?
Sure.
Okay, so, Berkowitz, Jaskowitz, Kaplan, Mazzarella, Reddy, Willens, and Irakin. Have a volunteer to read the,
You wanna read it?
well, no, you don't have to read
No,
it, just say, just move it.
Yeah, Berkowitz, I move, we approve the withdrawal.
Second, Jaskowitz.
Any discussion, or call the roll?
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Passarella.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Willand.
Yes.
Irakin.
Yes. Okay, then we have 2248, 2222. We can do those two together?
Mm-hmm.
All right, somebody move those two?
So moved.
Second, Jaskowitz.
Any discussion, nor call the roll?
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Willand.
Yes.
Irakin.
Yes.
Yeah.
2252, someone want to move that? Berkowitz?
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Second, Jaskowitz.
Any discussion, nor call the roll?
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Reddy.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Willand.
Yes.
Irakin.
Yes. Okay, let's go into tonight's agenda.
There's one more,
One more? Oh, where?
withdrawal. Did we do them together?
Yes.
No, we did one, and the next two.
2252?
Yeah, that's separately we did. We did with the,
Oh, we did the second two together. Okay, I apologize. Then I read.
We're okay? Scared me for a minute there. All right, application 2256, James Computer, 7 Ute Avenue, C variance to legalize the shed. Please come forward.
So you were sworn last time you were here? Yes. You understand you're still under that oath?
Yes.
I brought that. You want one?
Yeah, no, that's
These are all carrying.
I think I do. No, you can.
You were supposed to bring us some more information?
Yes, spoke to the city engineer, and, he described to me what needed to be done with the water. He said with the amount that we could do, it would be easy. There'll be gutters put on the shed, the leaders will go down into a rock pit, and then the main leader that's on the front of the house that catches most of the rain, that will come down. I was gonna bury that anyway,
Mhm.
so then I would be putting one of those, barrels in the ground.
Drywall.
That
Mr. Paul.
will put me way above the threshold for what is needed, because he said I was at 42, and, the limit was 40, and I was at like 42 and a half is what I'm at. So between those two things, I would be directly over.
Okay.
And then I had brought some photos for questions that you guys had asked the last time that I was here.
You want, park those?
Do you have a letter from the engineer?
I spoke to him on the phone. It was,
Was it Justin Liza?
excuse me,
Justin Liza?
Justin was out.
Brendan?
No, Brendan was out. It was Justin I spoke to.
Okay.
Brendan's out injured. Justin just took it over. I spoke to him, yesterday in length. We talked about that, and then, he said he would work with me to get me over the threshold. But he said from what we discussed, taking the main leader off the house and burying it, that would, with the water, would push it way, I'd be way over the minimum of what would be needed.
So what I guess he's telling you is the means, the things you are going to do are going to cover the overage. Because you're not changing any, you're not doing less coverage, you are alleviating the problem, you're fixing it.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
stopping the water,
Yes.
I'll be stopping the water from going into
Correct.
the street.
Where's this gravel pit gonna go? It's gonna drain here?
Can I show you a picture?
Yes, I think it'd be good.
These are
A1.
pictures we can keep.
Yeah, these are,
So we can,
Could just leave it, we'll pass it out.
Mr. King, we put these in the record?
A1,
A1's
Yes.
different pictures for different things. But this one, number one, is where my home is. You guys had asked why I put the shed where I did. This was to explain why.
So there's 5 different pictures?
Well, there's 5 sets of different pictures, because there was why I put it there.
So you just, if you
Yeah, I
go,
was
you go to
gonna
the microphone, it has to be picked up. So you have 5 pictures?
There's that, and then there's other ones.
Okay, but what you've just put is, marked as A1 is 5 pictures.
Yes, and then I also have a median drawing that I was on the phone with him, and I'm looking for right now.
Yeah. I'm
Are they all the same or are they different?
If the board approves it, would you agree that it would be subject to the letter describing what you just said?
Yeah, I'll share with you.
Yes, if the board approves they would be put into the ground, then everything would be
Yeah,
up
we
to
need a
par.
letter to file.
The engineer.
Yeah, we have nothing right now.
The only letter, I never received, he was reading me letters that he had received.
We'll
that
ask him to write the letter.
And then, because he just took it over yesterday, so, and the original letter I never received.
Okay.
That's why you're back.
There's 6 pictures in the package.
We,
Thank you.
Are they pictures all the same or are they different?
There's a package of 6 letters per packet,
Well, it's 5.
6 pictures.
It's 5 pictures per.
Ratio separated. Let's start.
There was a question of why I didn't get it, why I didn't get a permit and why I put it so close to the property line. There's pictures there where I Google Earth, when I was doing research on the sheds, and I just Google Earth pictures. I Google Earth the 20,
9 months after.
my neighborhood, and there's sheds galore that are basically up on the property line. So that's why I put it those 6 inches off the property line to where I can fit it. Because as you can see from the first picture of my house, you can see the shed is circled. The whole backyard was covered when I bought it. The shed's been there since 2019. Shortly after that, I was unable to use the shed for 2 years because, my neighbor I had at 11, I don't know if they're here today, if they are, they'll be up shortly, they were playing. They had tree issues that I've been battling with the city. My shed was crushed, sat with a toss for 2.5 years. I went to the housing department, but because of who they knew and whatnot, it was pushed back. And then after I kept calling the housing department, that's when they showed up about the shed. So it's actually been there since 2019, as I said the last time. And the reason why I put it where it is you can see in the picture, that was the only feasible spot to put it.
I think this is one set. That's one set. Chairman, you want to take a look with Mr. Chadwick?
Which house is yours? The one in the middle?
The red one,
Red roof?
yeah, gray roof, red house, you should have a red circle on it with the, are you looking at the one that has number 1 on it? No, those are just
We
pictures that I showed.
don't, we don't have numbers up here anymore.
This is one.
There's no more numbers on them anymore?
Yes, sir, don't.
There's the top photo.
I'll send them down, they can share them down here.
Basically, those pictures are just pictures of people in the area that have sheds.
Oh, this
right
is
up-
not your house?
No, my house is a red brick
Well,
house.
this is showing other properties with sheds on the property.
Who took these pictures?
Google Earth. So I didn't put any addresses on it, I don't want any columns for other people, but. But the picture with the red circle on it, over the shed, that's my home.
Not proper.
You have a red circle?
I guess you should, get the.
What are we doing?
Five, this one set.
I wasn't at this house.
Oh, there it is, that's the shed? Okay.
Oh, he's got it.
These are other,
Pictures of all the.
Yeah, I was not noticed.
other houses, not in there.
Yeah.
Anybody else down there?
This is just other properties.
People don't
He's
follow
just
the
showing.
I never did. Oh, there's a circle.
Yeah, this is coming.
Anybody else need a red circle?
Coming. Right.
There's another red circle, okay. We got that. Don't have that. We got that one. That's it. Okay, we sent those in already. The red roof is his house? All right, I guess this one is. We have a red circle. I've never seen that. I don't know what the hell we're looking at anyway. Okay.
All right. You want to continue then?
So, do you want the gray roof? That's, yes, that's my home. As you can see, that was the only feasible place to put it. From the street line, for a public safety standpoint, you cannot see it from down the street, a police can drive by, look straight up and down, and can see from the back. It starts midway from where my chimney is back, it's 6 inches off the property line. There's no other further way to put it. As far as the water issue that you brought up the last time, there'll be gutters on both sides of the shed, 2 liters coming down. Then it will go into, one of the gravel pits, that will be towards the street side, or I can put it on the other side, whatever the engineer prefers, towards the garage. And then the front of the house, where my old oil tank used to be, that's where, next to that large tree on the closest to the driveway, is where the gravel, the other one will go. That will pick up the main lead.
Whose garage is that behind the shed?
Mine, I have it detached. My grandfather built that in the
Is
50s.
that a 2-car garage?
Yes, sir.
What do you keep in there?
Well, it was our cars. I keep 1 car now. I have 3 people in the house. It's me, my wife, well, 4. Me, my wife, my grandmother, 96, she still drives, and then my son.
So you have 4 cars in the family?
3.
96 still there?
And you keep 2 cars in there or 1 car?
Well, 1 right now because of the issue with the shed.
Okay.
So I have all the stuff from the shed on one side, my grandmother keeps it in her side, and then my 2 cars, one's either in the driveway and one's on the street, because at the times I leave in the morning.
So you need the shed to put the stuff in, so your 96-year-old grandmother can keep her car in the garage,
Well, her car is in the garage, it's the safest place for her.
right? And then, so you'll use the other one?
Yes, sir. My wife
Okay.
would use the other one, and then I use the driveway, since I leave so early.
Any other questions by the board?
No, sir.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witness on the testimony given this evening? Questions? No questions.
So engineering report, I have a question. Engineering report, where is that? We did not get the report.
I just literally spoke to him, he just picked the case up yesterday.
What about whatever you said is not in the engineering report?
Well, I think
It'll be
John said,
contingent on-
whatever approvals we make will be subject to a letter from the engineering department confirming what he said.
Basically, what he told me is if we get past this part, then he would work with me with the other stuff, and then I would just,
Okay.
he'd tell me where to do it, I just dig the holes and I'll drop everything in.
What would be this part, us approving this the way it stands right now, the way you're testifying?
That's basically what he explained to me on the phone. Because he just picked up the case right then and there.
You just
The other-
agreed before that you would we would get a letter from the engineer confirming what you testified to, which would be part of the file, which would be then to sign off on your plans.
Okay.
Is there another picture on behind this tree, underneath this tree? Like, what's behind there? I mean, I know it's not easy to move a shed, but we're talking to 6 inches off the neighbor's property line on top of the water. And I don't know what's behind there that the shed couldn't go over there. I don't know.
Well, we have the survey.
Because looking at the survey we have here, the back left of the yard looks like it would fit that same, right over here,
Underneath the tree.
right there.
Sir, you have to stay there. Do you want to mark that? Then we'll mark that as A2, and then we can send it down. But I think that's this, is that a bigger picture of this?
Yeah.
Yes, you have it already.
We have it.
As I explained the last time, where my house is and the way they graded it back in the 50s, my yard is like this. So there's next to the garage, you got a 74-year-old Japanese maple that takes up half the yard. And there's no way for me to physically get it on the other side. I had 2 large oaks in the backyard at the time when I bought the shed. The beetles took those out.
You're there.
We wound up, we were gonna plant new ones. We have planters in the back. If you wanted me to remove the planters, I would actually have to build a whole retaining wall with all drainage in the back, and I don't have the funds for that.
I'm good.
John, do you have any opinion on this, as long as he's gonna go along with what the engineer says?
I think the drainage was the first issue, but I don't think we've opened it up yet.
Well, you can make comments.
Yeah, I'd rather hear what the comments from the
All right,
neighbors are before I comment.
okay.
Are they even here?
Is there any members of the public that are here for this application? Any members of the public here for this application? One more time. Any member of the public here for this application? There's nobody here.
The basic issue is whether you want to keep a large Japanese maple tree and grant a variance for the reasons that the applicant has stated. Doesn't appear there's any neighboring objection.
There was last time, I think, when we first
I
came.
think there was, but
Yeah, there was
they're not here.
There was,
It really
yeah,
comes down to a choice of the board.
it was 11U with their trees. But then they found out their fence is on my property, so I don't think they're gonna push it. Because if you look on my survey, the fence for the length of that is actually on my property. And
So they didn't want to move the fence, did they?
I don't think so. All I'm trying to do is just get my shed and be done with it. I mean, everyone has that one neighbor, and unfortunately.
Any
and I
other
mailed out
questions?
everything, so.
No.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witness? Nothing? Okay. There's nothing else you'd like to add?
Well, I have.
Are there any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application? In support of this application? I hear none, see none. I just want to caution the board, if this is not a unified yes, we're going to go into conference.
Say that a little louder? I couldn't hear you.
I just want to caution the board,
Yeah.
if this is not a unified yes, we're going to go into conference. So, is anybody going to call for a conference?
No.
No. Thank you. Someone make a
I have a
recommendation?
question though. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was us.
Yes, Bernie, okay.
Almost unified.
If we approve this subject to the engineer's
Yeah.
basically statements at this point,
Yes.
we have, I don't know, 2 weeks at least before we'll see a resolution. We should have a letter from the engineer. So we don't have the letter from the engineer.
Fully agree.
We're ready to vote, we don't have to
Well,
vote.
then we can't vote on it until we get a letter, right, Peter?
Yes, I mean, there is a October 6, 2022 letter
We need to follow up.
that he would have to comply with that, but the follow-up letter would indicate what was the requirements of the dry wells, location, et cetera.
And then he agrees that his proposed alleviated
Yes.
issues would correct the problem.
That's
Nora-
correct.
Potential problem.
Nora, can you, pardon me, can you light a fire under him or what?
I will reach out to him.
Okay.
Well, he's been fairly responsive.
Yeah, no,
I talked to him the other 2 days ago, so.
yeah, no, we've gotten a lot of correspondence, and a lot of time to correspond. So is it, I know it's a little bit,
I can draft it up and we can carry it until we get that letter.
I know it's not the best of applications, and
No, I think the consensus among people who have issues with the property line aspect of it is, it's a fence for a shed, so to speak,
Exactly.
okay.
and that's
Yeah,
it.
that's changed my thought on it.
You could have saved us a lot of time by sharing.
Just said that.
Yeah, yeah.
Can someone frame a resolution, move on, because we got a busy night.
Application 22:56, James Caputo, 7 Oud Avenue, Block 565, Lot 10, Zone R4, recommend granting a C variance to legalize the shed contrary to Section 430-10, C, Section 430 to 35, columns 10 and 13, and stating that the applicant will agree to the terms of the engineering department.
Second ready.
Any discussion? Nora, call the
Well,
roll.
hold on for a second, did we include that the engineer's report would validate all of what he testified?
He said so.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
Berkowitz.
Okay, I just want to make sure the documentation's there. Okay.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Willand.
Yep.
Hurricane.
Yes. Results variance is granted. As soon as we get the letter from the engineer, we will formalize the resolution. Obviously, we're not gonna stop you from doing anything, because the shed's already there. So the burden is on us to get the letter from the engineer, and then we read, like we read the resolutions earlier today,
Okay.
and then that finalizes it.
So I
Okay?
could go forward, then we'll start getting the dry wells and everything.
I wouldn't.
I would wait until we,
Wait until we get the engineer.
Wait till the resolution is adopted.
It's your call.
Okay.
It's your call. If you do it and then something, there's a red herring somewhere.
2 more weeks.
Okay.
Hopefully, Nora will put pressure on the engineer.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck.
Cool.
Let's call application 2262 McDarris Lennon, 18 Maple Lane. C variance to legalize a patio and shed.
Ma'am, you were here previously, you were sworn, correct?
no.
No.
Raise your right hand. You swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this board is the true self you got. For the record, you are McDarius Lennon?
Yeah.
And you're the owner of the subject property, 18 Maple Lane? And, Mr. Chairman, the witness is sworn. Please have a seat and speak into the microphone.
Okay, so shed is a half a foot off the property line where 6 is allowed. Yards and court shed rear yard, 1 foot where 6 foot is allowed. Side yard patio, 7 feet existing, allowed is 6 feet, proposed is 0.5 feet. Accessory rear yard patio, existing is 31, allowed is 10, proposed is 6. Pervious coverage, 37.73 is existing, allowed is 40, and you're proposing 51.11. You want to tell us what you want to do and why some of this has already been done?
Well, I was looking to extend the patio to have a little bit more entertainment area in the backyard. And the shed that was originally there was already beat up, and to actually keep it there was not, because we had trees around it and branches were falling on it. And the only other area was the corner that we chose, because there was no other area, because I already had installed the above-ground pool. I had no clue about the coverage, the impervious, and I went ahead and I didn't know about permits. I've taken out permits for everything else.
Just slow down for a second. The shed replaced a shed that was there
Yes,
in the same place?
not in the same place. I moved it to a corner.
Okay, you can continue.
Okay. So yeah, I moved the shed to a better area in a corner where it wasn't taking up space, and I didn't know, the setbacks of how far apart you're supposed to go from property line. But that was the only area because I have a lot of tree stumps and throughout the yard where I didn't have much of room to work with.
Well, looking at the site plan, it looks like you do have a fair amount of room. You didn't have to put it way back in that corner, right?
I couldn't come up more because I have tree stumps.
Tree stumps.
Yes,
You could
You
grind
get,
down.
you can get rid of tree stumps, that's,
yeah. I mean, I got someone and I had no clue about the setbacks. I really was clueless when it came to that. I'm being honest when it comes to that.
How big is that, how big is that shed?
8 by 8, I believe.
that's the old shed you just moved back there.
I made it, and I'm thinking I made it smaller than the original shed that I had.
She replaced the shed.
Oh, it's a new shed.
Yes.
Where is the other shed in relation to that?
Well, most of the pieces, some of the pieces went to bring it back and then replace whatever was gone.
Where on the property located?
It was right in back of the concrete patio.
Where you're proposing a new patio?
Yeah, I have the new survey that has everything. That shows all the,
The new patio is a lot bigger than what you now currently have.
Do we have that?
Okay, I see, it. Yeah.
We don't have this.
And that would
We
be
have
A1?
both surveys, we have both surveys
Pass these down, this,
attached to the,
okay.
So we do have this, it's just this version.
This is the old, this is the old.
yeah, it says existing.
We have it.
No, there's a
We
new
have
one,
this.
this is a new one.
Yeah, the new one and the old?
You have the
That's the
new
one.
and the other proposed and existing. Everyone has
Ah.
it. Look at the back of your packet.
Where's the
Got
new
it,
one?
okay. All right, we did have it, never mind. So we do have it.
Yeah, they're right.
You can see it better.
Yeah, we got it, never mind.
have it.
But this is something different.
Yeah,
You brought this, what is changing this from the other one you've already submitted on the existing?
that shows all the new work on it.
Yeah, right.
The old one shows where the shed previously was, the new one shows where it is now.
And just for my clarification, this patio is not built yet, right?
Yes,
It is built.
yes.
Well, on the
All
there's one over
concrete.
here that says proposed, that's right. See, this is
it's a concrete patio?
Yes.
All concrete.
That's huge.
Yeah, and it's,
Yeah.
Well, because on the,
You hired a subcontractor to do all the work,
Yes,
and he told you you didn't need permits?
yes.
He was wrong.
Yeah, big time.
Do you have any idea how it was constructed? Has it got rebar in it? Or-
Yes. I even called different companies about doing paver patios, and they even said I didn't need permits even to do the paver patios. And I went with the concrete because cost efficient, it was cheaper.
Paver, you in some towns you probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pavers, you don't need them in some towns, so
You do.
Okay.
they actually stopped me from doing my patio when I was doing it.
As well they should.
That's the-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The reason I went with that route was it's more cost efficient.
Okay, if this solid concrete patio were pavers or something else, that would partially alleviate the impervious coverage issue, I think, okay? Would it not, Chairman, or John?
yeah,
Okay.
but it's still not gonna move it ahead.
No, it's not gonna move it.
That
So,
that is my big
yeah,
concern.
my
In
big
fact,
concern too is,
that is just, that's a little over the top, I'm sorry.
so you took it right up to the property lines, right? Yeah,
This
Yeah,
is,
it has a little space, yeah.
this is more than a conforming lot also, if I read that correctly.
exactly, it's good, but it's not.
7,000 square feet. So,
Or two front yards.
7,150 in a 6,000 square
No,
foot
there's
zone,
not.
Yeah, you're
right? So you're not, what's that?
Initially, it looks like a corner
Yeah,
lot, but it's not a corner lot.
No.
Do
Well,
you
it's a
have,
corner lot, we'd have a
before we
fence
go
issue.
too much, further, do you have any ideas or recommendations of what you might be willing to do to, mitigate some of this, major variances you're requesting here?
Well, I was willing to go with the recommendations that the engineer had submitted about, putting, wells or something underneath to help.
Dry wells?
Drywall.
Dry wells, yes.
But that doesn't
And
alleviate
leader
the,
pipe, yeah.
that doesn't alleviate the, encroachment on the property line and impervious coverage and everything else. So,
Well, the
you have-
impervious coverage,
It's not major,
you got the pool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is,
okay, got it.
I left my protractor home,
Or if you
but
don't want to.
what is that? It's like a 15, 18, 20-foot round pool?
24.
24. Does anybody remember pi equals, what is that?
Tire square.
Circumference equals pi r squared?
So 12,
We got an accountant trying to do us. I wouldn't go there, Chairman.
144 times 3.14.
Pi is 3.14.
It's 24 feet across.
Yeah. R,
20
R.
144,
Radius.
12.
So it's 12
12 feet?
squared, 144.
No, the radius, not, right, okay, the radius, so it's 144 times 3.14.
430, 440.
Chaz, you're the
Like
engineer.
450, around 450, 500.
430.
It's 452 square feet. The pool is 452 square feet, divided by the divided by the lot, which is 7,100, round numbers. That's, six and a half%. So,
It
if
becomes
you eliminate the pool as and make it a collector,
like 44.
that brings this down to 45 square feet, 45%. So now we're kind of in the range of the, but I still have a problem with the half a foot for the patio. I say you cut about 3 feet off the patio. That's my feeling.
I agree with you.
I agree.
Yeah.
I know it's not the most pleasant thing to say, but,
They put some landscaping.
and I would, yeah.
Nancy, what do you think?
Really having a problem with it, the impervious coverage.
No, the impervious coverage is not a problem once you take the pool, that's not
Only
an issue.
3 foot off.
Probably take the 3 foot off.
It comes closer.
Yeah.
She's within her, and particularly if she removes some of the
Yeah.
patio, the concrete patio, that gives her additional
Oh, that's right.
alleviation of the
Yeah.
impervious coverage. So the impervious coverage is not an issue. If she's willing to take some footage off the patio along the property lines, then we can probably discuss it.
Okay.
That looks like,
You understand the downside of this. If the board votes to reject the application, you have to take it all out.
Oh, I agree with removing 3 feet. That's fine.
that's another 131 square feet, which is another 2%. So we're down to 43%, which is manageable. That's only 3% over. We eliminate half of the side yard. We go to, where 6 is allowed. The rear yard, that's 6 feet, so that's okay. We can live with that.
Is the shed there already?
Yes,
It's in the corner.
Is it on a concrete slab?
yes.
You got a fence or,
Well, it gives room underneath. It's not
do you have a,
anchored to the ground where it's poured concrete. It has gaps.
It's on blocks.
Yes.
do you have a solid fence along that wall, along that property line?
Vinyl fence, yes.
Vinyl fence. Did you talk to your neighbors at all about it?
Yes.
They don't have a problem with it?
Uh,
Remember, you're under oath.
My good neighbors, they don't have a problem. My
Good neighbors?
Well, all right then.
My one neighbor has a problem with everything. I'm not even allowed to park in front of my driveway because
We can't help
she
you,
owns
we
this
can't help you with
apartment.
that, okay?
She owns that parking space?
So yes, all the other neighbors that I'm able to talk to, they're fine with The one, I'm not even able to have a conversation with her.
And the one is directly adjacent to your property?
Yes,
Okay.
she's the one, she's the corner property.
Oh, she's not next to the patio?
No,
She's on the pool side.
yes.
She's
Next to the
below
shed?
She's next to the shed.
She's next to the
How
shed.
high is this vinyl fence? 5 feet, 6 feet?
6 feet.
And how high is the shed, do you know?
It's a little bit over.
A little bit over?
Yes, a little bit. I
there's
even
no-
spoke to the neighbor because the way the shed, it's both yards, the other neighbor's fine with it. And I have 2 sheds directly in my backyard, which, that's why I thought it was okay. They're right up on my back part of the fence.
All these fences are yours?
Yes.
They're all 6-foot vinyl?
No, chain link in the back?
No, the back side of it, you face
Chain
the
link.
backyard, that's,
Chain link?
it's a, chain link is the other, the neighbor in the back.
And that-
My side is a wood,
The fence was there when you got the property?
Yes.
Those were already existing?
yes.
You didn't change that?
No, I changed the side fences.
Side fencing, and they're buying?
Yes.
And they're 6 foot? Okay.
Yes.
But they're not in violation of anything, so that's...
No,
okay.
I've got the permit, everything went fine.
So you're in agreement to take out a good portion of the patio that encroaches upon
3 feet.
Yes,
a minimum of 3 feet? Could you do more?
Yeah, I mean, are we gonna, is it 3 feet on the side, or a foot and a half on the side, a foot and a half in the back?
No, that's what I'm-
3 feet on the side, because the back's got 6 feet.
How short are we on the side? 3 feet?
You only got
Why are we
6,
only doing 3 feet?
you only got 6 inches on the side.
Yeah, so why 3 feet? Why not just bring it, make it compliant?
Trying to be, middle of the road, Dave.
3 would be the middle of 6.
Square it off with the old concrete. Is that what you're talking about?
If you square it off with the old concrete patio, that's 6 foot 6 inches.
That get taken out?
Yeah,
What do you think?
That's on the side.
there's a dimension showing from the side property line to the concrete patio of 6 foot 6 inches.
But, there are steps, looks like there are steps, right?
Yeah,
So,
Halfway together.
keep until the step and remove the next 3 feet towards the fence. That is around 3 feet, right?
I can't tell.
No,
It looks like the steps are a little
she
more than 3 feet wide.
So just, it's hard to hear, but you have the steps going up to the back patio, right? Along here?
I can't see that far. Wait, let me look for you.
Okay.
You have your survey.
I guess the point being, if you,
Okay, those steps,
yeah. So
those
if you
steps
take,
that you're seeing there on the side of the house.
I understand, okay. And the encroachment of the, where you do the pavement all the way to your property line, which is in violation, okay? If you were to take that out along that same line, that would be about 6 feet you'd be taking out.
Okay,
The
so along
concrete
the
there.
right side all the way
Along
down.
the right side, yeah.
Okay,
That sound good?
yes,
You would be willing to do that?
yes. How long do I have?
Well, let's not worry about that, you gotta see if we get some resolution on it. But that would then give us, in my opinion,
You'd be
not-
undercovered.
Yeah, you'd be undercovered.
Coverage and no
Yeah,
issues.
impervious, and the encroachment on the side yard would be within, it would be compliance, okay? You with us? You'd be in compliance on that part,
Yes,
so we don't have to grant a variance.
excuse me?
We wouldn't have to grant a variance for that part.
Okay,
We're just bringing it in line with the concrete patio, right?
Yes,
The concrete patio is now gonna be,
They would like
6 foot would be removed.
exactly.
Don't worry about the
so it's only the side?
Yes, the one side.
Okay.
I guess I go both ways.
Somebody has a
Steps go
question I
into the
couldn't hear.
patio, but you take this patio away,
Dave?
going anywhere.
Does anybody have a question for John?
The steps, do they go, I see they come down towards Maple Lane. Do they go into the backyard too?
No,
Okay.
So you come up the steps and you have some nice grassy area or gravel or something like that rather than concrete, okay? You take the concrete out.
I think the steps going to
there's
the
no
house.
steps. The steps go into the house, they don't go into
They
the
don't
yard.
go
There's
down.
still a good
Got it.
few feet to
Got
get
it.
into the
Good,
yard.
that's even
Well,
easier.
the reason I did that was because it was uneven and people, I have senior citizens in my family, didn't want them falling and things like
How
that.
do
So I
you get
figured a
how
flat
do you get from the
surface.
house to the patio?
The fence, there's a door. I don't know if you can see it.
In the back of the house.
You can't go from inside the house to the patio,
Lower level,
lower level, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So John, you're gonna remove that, variance for the side yard patio? It'll be in compliance, right?
6 feet, yes.
And then, with regard to impervious coverage, we'll bring it down to 47.11%.
It won't even be that high.
51.11.
Once you take concrete out, it'll be about 41%, 42.
I think if you count like a ground, above ground pool and all, it will be with less than 40%.
Yeah.
The variance for the shed would stay, would remain.
Yep.
Is there a Justin
And the
Lizza
rear
letter?
yard.
Yes.
So then we wouldn't need the
Rear
Justin
yard's
Lizza
still a
letter,
variance.
I
right?
don't think so.
We wouldn't need it anymore.
It's not a rear,
No,
Yeah.
in terms of the impervious, right?
oh, I'm just talking about setback.
I think you still need impervious.
Yeah, I think you do too. Because the pool, we're saying don't count the pool, but,
They,
Well, we have to.
but
So does she have to do what Justin
that's
needs,
just for our information.
Chairman?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Do you think she still has to do what the, Justin Lizza requests?
She has to cut 6
Yes.
feet off the patio.
And still do the remediate,
The drywall
the
is,
stormwater management?
If the town engineer said to do it, yes.
Okay.
You understand that?
Do I, even with cutting it off, I still have to do the,
Well, the town engineer said you had to do the water remediation issue, right?
okay, yeah, that was a
You have that
suggestion, yeah.
letter,
Yeah,
and you agree that letter, to do that portion.
yeah. Do I have to reach out back to him with cutting it off? Do I still need it, or?
yeah.
Okay.
Because you're still over. When the chairman's talking and he considers the pool
Pool has-
takes water in, but you're still
Town
considered
doesn't-
over.
We recognize the pool, but the town does not.
You're not changing the rear yard, just changing the side yard.
Side yard only.
Side
right.
yard.
For the rear yard's still a variance.
The only thing you can do is get a hold of the town engineer, and if he says you don't need to do it anymore, we'll comply. We'll
Okay.
go with you.
With
It'll be
drainage.
subject to the engineer.
Subject to the engineer's report,
Okay,
okay? Like, once again, everything is in, so if it takes us 3 or 4 weeks to resolve this, you're not losing out on it.
You've already done it anyway.
okay.
Okay. Is that, now, is there any members of the public have any questions of this witness on the testimony given this evening? I hear none, see none. There's nothing else you'd like to add, right?
No.
Are there any members of the public who speak in opposition to this application, in support of this application? I hear none, see none. Someone like to make a recommendation so we can move on? Come on, guys.
I'll make it, given the, nature of the givebacks on the part of the applicant, I will be voting in favor of this.
Somebody frame a resolution?
Sure, application 22:62, McDoris, Lennon, 18 Maple Lane, block 573, lot 20, zone R4. Recommend granting a C variance to legalize a patio and shed contrary to section 430-10C. Shed side and rear yard, section 430-35, columns 8 and 9. Patio side and rear yard, section 430-35, column 13, with taking out 6 feet of concrete and with agreeing to anything that the town engineer requested for stormwater management. Is that right?
Just
Correct.
confirming his letter or?
Confirming his letter and doing what he has.
Second.
And the applicant agrees not to do any further property improvement without proper permits.
Total, yeah.
Do I have a
Second ready.
second? Dave?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Laura, call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Willand.
Yes.
Irish.
Result of the variance is granted. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, case 2268, Rakesh Godhani, Waterloo Drive, C variance to construct a garage addition, breezeway addition, driveway expansion, air conditioning unit, legalize a paver patio and covered kitchen cabana, et cetera, et cetera.
Are both of you going to, provide testimony tonight? Okay. Could you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm testimony you're about to give before the board is true self you got?
Yes.
And for the record, you are, and ma'am, your name?
Krishna,
And how do you spell that?
K-H-U-S, B as in boy, you?
And you're the owners of the subject property?
Yes.
You're sworn as factual witness, so you can sit down. And is this
Our architect.
your architect? Could you raise your right hand? Okay. You swear from the testimony you're about to give before the board is true self you got? And your testimony will be expert testimony, architectural and planning? And all your licenses are in full force and effect? And you've been either qualified before this board or other boards in the state of New Jersey? Okay, thank you, you're sworn. Mr. Chairman, the witnesses have been sworn, the architect and planner has been sworn as an expert witness.
Oh, okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kushbu Gadani. This is my husband, Rakesh Gadani, and this is our architect, Ken. We're here to present our case on building another garage on the right side of our driveway. We understand the structure will technically be in our front yard due to our property being a corner lot. We're extremely grateful to be living in the town we grew up in. Rick and I both graduated the Hills, Parsippany Hills High School, and we wanted to actually raise our children in this town and have them walk the same halls. We came across One Waterloo Drive, the bones were perfect, the lot was beautiful, and we wanted to, we included our case with the previous homeowners, why they should sell the house to us. It's been about 3 to 4 years in that home. We've renovated it, we've added, added some wonderful specifications for a growing family. We have upgraded the landscaping, we've added a fence which was approved, we had a variance for it as well, which we complied with that variance. We added a beautiful pool, and we also had added a patio, gazebo, and a kitchen. Gazebo outdoors, which was done by our contractor, who did receive the proper permit, and it was inspected by the town as well. We're requesting this garage due to our expanding family. I'm also currently pregnant. We currently have 2 cars, and we have a little small car for our son that's currently actually blocking our into our garage entryway. So we're hoping to build an extra garage so we can kind of, we want to get another car in the future because our family is growing, we can use that. We also have landscaping equipment that we have, like we have the lawnmower, we have the snow blower. We would love to upgrade to a ride-on lawnmower in the future to kind of also help with landscaping costs. We're hoping to be able to put that in as well, along with the vehicle. So we mainly are looking for this garage to, help us with the extra vehicles. They can go, especially in the winters here, they're freezing. So our main, we're also requesting specific specifications because my husband would like to add a golf simulator to it temporarily, and for that, we do need 12-foot ceilings to be able to safely use it. It would just be temporary for about maybe 2 to 3 years, and the golf simulator actually does go up, so the cars would stay in there, and when he moves the car out, we can just put it back. It's just which is why we want the 12-foot ceilings in the garage, but it's mainly for the vehicles and the landscaping equipment. It's a great space for storage. Like I said, we're a growing family, and we would like to be able to use that for extra storage, so we don't grow out of our house. We understand that there's an issue with impervious coverage or the water drainage, therefore we are willing to build a dry well system or build a water runoff that can go into our current drainage system. So in our backyard, we currently do have a little well that goes through the pavers onto the opposite side of our opposite side of our retaining wall, so it's within our property line, and it just drains the extra water off that goes, whenever it's raining. And obviously Ken can give you more specifics on that. We need the garage to be placed on the right side of our driveway, right next to the fence, so we can obviously, when you go into the driveway, you go straight to the garage, and you go straight into the garage. It doesn't make sense for it to go into our backyard. There's no way for the cars to get there. We did walk the property with Ken. We did do our due diligence on inspecting the property and what other options we have for a second garage, that storage, plus the golf simulator area. So obviously, Ken can go into the other options and everything like that, but we did do our due diligence, and we believe this is the best option for us. So we take our plea into consideration.
So just before he starts, you said it was inspected? Did I hear you say that?
As far as our contractor had told us, everything was up, they have the permits.
Right, but it wasn't inspected, it was your contractor saying everything's okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they did get permits.
Everything for the patio and everything for the pool and everything had all permits.
Patios are not inspected.
On the report we have from the zoning office.
Microphone, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. On the report that we received from the zoning office on the zoning board of adjustment review, she had mentioned that it was bigger than they had approval for. That's how we understood it, right? That the patio ended up being a bit bigger, so it now has additional impervious coverage within what we're asking for tonight.
So the patio is currently 868. What was it proposed, but what was the permit for?
I don't think that's the way you read it. I think it's 868 additional.
It's 868 additional.
So
That
it's
line one is additional?
twice the size it was supposed to be.
Oh.
I'm looking at the paperwork from previous zoning data from pool construction. I don't have a date.
It says you had an approval for 842 square feet, and you wound up building an additional 868 square feet, so, roughly twice the size.
That's probably,
What shows on the existing conditions where you built it.
yes, when they retained me, I had them get a new survey because of making sure that we were able to show you exactly what's on the property now and our choices for being able to construct.
We've heard a couple applications before you. Do you know how this patio is constructed?
How's the patio constructed as far as the gravel, on the end of the pavers?
Is it grouted?
Is there grout between the pavers, or is it, it's not grouted. I don't believe.
Water can penetrate through?
There was some discussion about a drainage system from the patio. Do you have any familiarity with that?
Just the location of it on the, I'll enter this as Exhibit A1.
Let's put it this way, did you see the engineer's report?
I did not see an engineer's report, no, we're not given an engineer's report.
But before you, just before you start testifying, and if they're done
Yes.
testifying, then the chair will probably ask if there's anyone who...
Yeah, I won't continue, I was just gonna help with the questions that were asked. I will.
Let me just want to ask, and then everyone has questions.
You're nothing, that's right? No. Okay, we'll take a moment.
Give us a second, sorry.
Why don't they put the pool way back there?
Can you put the kitchen in?
I don't know. So here it says.
They got 40,000
square feet.
This is old power, right?
Yeah.
Pool's a long way from the house. Not too far away. I drove by it tonight. Yeah.
Which side of the street are you on the north side or the south?
Tonight. I don't know. Or Dan Channel.
I don't think.
Dan Channel, yeah.
Okay,
Okay. What happened?
but if I'd like to be asked questions that were asked of them, or should I wait?
I don't know if the chairman's gonna...
Or should we defer until?
If the clients are done, then what we usually do is then we allow the audience, any members of the public to ask them questions, and then we go to your testimony.
Right, so
You want to do that?
the question was asked, we can defer until my testimony.
At this point, the testimony given by the applicant, is there anybody have any questions, any member of the public have any questions of the applicant's testimony? Hear none, see none, you may proceed.
I will address the question that just came up. Did we see the engineer's report? No, we had not. Just reviewed it quickly, and it is significantly about number of items, it's 5 items, and the items 2 and 3 are about the impervious coverage, which I'll address within the testimony, and they brought up as well. When the detainees retained me, we looked around the property. They wanted to get a garage. and they brought up a golf simulator idea. We looked around the property for maybe a remote shed and a garage, and another place for a garage on their property. They are a corner lot, so they have two front yards. Their front of the house, or the what looks like the front of the house, is on Waterloo Drive. It's number 1 Waterloo Drive, and we have the full setback there. On Granada Drive is the driveway. Driveway enters into an existing 2-car garage. So we looked at on Waterloo Drive. We looked at the left side of the property, and it slopes off a bit, and there's wooded and trees there. We looked on the right side of the property. I climbed through the shrubs and trees with them there to look at the alternative locations for a large shed to be able to get a simulator. We decided that it would be better if we made it a single structure on the site, but a single structure, and have it accessed from the current driveway. One of the main reasons I brought up to them is that when we do increase impervious coverage, if we located the garage anywhere else or backwards and it was conforming, we would have to expand the driveway. Expanding the driveway would also increase impervious coverage. So we tried to locate it so that the amount of expanded driveway was minimized. So the whole aspect of the location of this was minimized. We connected the garage with a breezeway so that one could still walk. Guests and such could walk from the driveway to their rear yard, and it kept it away from the existing house towards the street, so that a K-turn could be made coming out of this garage. We couldn't put this garage against the existing house and come out directly to the driveway, because we would need to be able to come out the driveway, out the garage, and make a K-turn to be able to exit the driveway. So we tried to make this the safest location, and we would consider the best location. It is located the edge of that is 35.5 feet from the property line, with the curb line being a number of feet farther than that, and that is the variance we're here for you. We have the existing conditions we were made aware of with our application and the impervious coverage. When we did the survey, we knew we were over the impervious coverage. That's the application we made to you. The cause of it being the fact that this was built bigger than the contractor had done his permit for. Not aware of that. Our request to you is that where 20% coverage is required here in the zone, and we have a total of 24.9% here, which is inclusive of all of the previous construction, as well as our new garage and breezeway being considered in that 4.9%.
Where's this golf simulator? It's going in the new garage?
In the garage.
So how high is that new garage gonna be?
It's to the peak. It's 18 foot 8 inches to the peak. We have shown here on the elevation, which is as submitted, and we show that we put a ceiling in there at 12 feet, and that we tried to make the 1-car garage be the same aesthetic as the home, with the same siding, similar roof, so that it essentially blends in with the house at that location.
What is the existing garage, 2-car?
2-car.
And what is in the southeast corner of the house? What is there?
When you come in the driveway, the room is right here.
Guest room.
Bedroom?
Yeah.
Is there a reason you couldn't put that garage in the southeast corner and roughly have a 3-car garage, widen the pavement? You probably get further down on terms of coverage because you're going on the patio, and your variances. I mean, I don't think you're gonna see many houses in that neighborhood with a detached garage out in the front yard.
So we did look over here. They presently have concrete stairs that go down to the basement location there, and because it was the guest room in the corner, and significantly, because when we looked at that, we realized that for the entire width of the garage past the house. Now, the garage, if we're looking at it from Granada, the right side of the driveway is just beyond the middle of the house, going towards the east. So a garage in this location would be another 20 feet over there, 12 to 16 feet with width of the garage, or 18 feet, plus another 12 feet here. And we'd have to bring that impervious coverage here to be able to make it turn back out of the garage. So I understand that some of the garage would be over some of the impervious coverage, but there would be a significant, I believe, significant size, if here. In order to do that, we're talking about, I think, a really significant amount of driveway being built in the front yard at that location. We thought that was more of a negative.
I think your biggest issue is a garage that's out of the front yard in that developed neighborhood that's gotta be 35 years old at best, older than that. And you're on a corner.
That's why he's,
That's
got a front yard setback, because he's on the
Yeah.
corner.
Right, but it makes it more obvious.
Makes more sense. I do want to enter into an exhibit, a photo board. I'll label this A2. This is a series of 7 photographs taken by myself, labeled Gudhenny Residence, and these are photos that show the property as it exists.
And that's A2?
A2. And I can bring these closer to the board in a moment. And photograph number 1 is taken back from the corner, the southwest corner, looking towards the garage, towards the house, and you can see that the front of the house has lots of very large trees, et cetera, and it's hidden where, that's just about hidden from the corner view. I have a shot from photograph number 3. Again, I can pass it around to the board in a moment.
We'll need that back in a minute.
Photograph number 3 is coming down Granada as you enter or access the property. When it comes down Granada this way towards the west, this is looking at the property. And the Gudhennys in the back of this property have a significant amount of mature trees, as well as landscaping, as well as their fence. And also,
That's not the issue here tonight.
well, it was mentioned that the visibility part of it, I understand. And then the Gudhennys have planted on photograph 4, that shows all the evergreens that are planted along the front of that. So understand that it's a little more unconventional.
It's a big and nice lot. I gotta ask you a question. The 3rd car garage, is that because you can have a golf simulator in there, or because you gotta get another car in the garage?
A little bit of both.
I'm gonna go with a bit more of the golf simulator kind of thing, okay?
Maybe wants to be invited over.
Well,
That's inappropriate.
my game is, but my real concern here is, again, a front yard garage, okay? Does your family's gonna need more car parking spaces, okay? I have a son that has 6 cars, okay? And they have a 1-car garage.
Yeah.
But they have 3 or 4 cars sitting outside, so it's winter and stuff like that. So, I guess my concern here is you have plenty of room in this lot. It's a beautiful lot, okay? And you've done a great job with the fencing and yarding it. In the future, when you need more car space, you put 2 cars in the garage now?
Yeah.
And all your,
2 cars.
you're grinning, okay? And all your stuff outside, you have proper storage for that. You don't need the garage
Not
space?
really.
Okay.
Everything's under the gazebo.
Okay, but you have storage area. You know where I'm going with this? I mean, to have us approve a garage and a front yard in that neighborhood is what you're really kind of asking for here. And I don't think you have a hardship to warrant us to do that, okay? And grant that. So I'm just concerned on that. We'd like to accommodate the needs of our constituency, and you're a great neighbor, okay? And you have a beautiful property, but this might be pushing the envelope a little bit from the approval standpoint, from my standpoint. Okay, it's just telling you where I'm at.
Did you consider making the bedroom into a garage space and adding on to the other end of the house?
That,
That bedroom has a basement underneath it?
yeah, the basement's underneath, and the stairs go,
Well, the basement's under that section?
yeah, and then the stairs go down to the basement.
Oh, the stairs
So
are
I
right there
won't-
too?
You won't be able to put the garage.
What if you put 3 or 4 Norway spruces, a nice size, maybe 10, 12 Norway spruces to grow a foot a year? And within 3 or 4 years, they will be damn near as blocking the garage from the streetscape. I don't see I think this, I don't know, architecturally, I don't have a big problem with this.
I don't have a big
The
problem with it.
breezeway, why is the breezeway there? Between
Connected to the house, make it
Look,
jazz one.
we thought, it looked better, keeps it part of the house. It creates, instead of just having a fenced gate between there, it just creates an entry into the backyard. So I think from an architectural standpoint, especially, but then also from a planning standpoint and with the aesthetics, we just thought that was much more attractive.
Well,
Looks like
that's
it's part of
coming
the
out of
house.
that bedroom, right?
There's no access door there, we're connecting it.
Basement.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Does the breezeway connect directly to the house or not?
no, we're not putting a door at that.
So
we're
what's the
not put-
breezeway for? I walk into the breezeway, how do I get in the house from the breezeway?
We have to go in the garage, just like, have to go in the garage
Basement.
or through the basement. We walk to the backyard and go into the basement where the stair is, or we go in through here and go into the garage. So basically the same way they enter. in that-
Why the breezeway at all? Why can't the garage just go right up to the back of the house?
Well, as I mentioned, if we take the garage and place it up against the house,
Right.
then, well, we wouldn't be able to make a K-turn by turning here and pulling out the driveway. I suppose we could navigate backing out of here and turning and coming out there, but
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
my intention to do a K-turn.
Yeah, excuse me, but not every driveway allows residents to just do K-turns. So, I mean, I could appreciate you wanting to do the maneuver, but, the fact remains you have limited space, and so, it just seems like a project that went overboard, in my view, and with all due respect, and it looks beautiful, and I would want to live there, I would want to be your kid. At the same time, planning this, planning that, planning a residential version of Topgolf, I'm really having a hard time with it. I don't know if anybody else is on this board.
Well, when we talked about, yes, the Topgolf and having that, or golf, having it there.
But then you add the
Understand-
K-turn, and you add this, and you add that, and you know what, I would like to be a Victoria's Secret model. It ain't happening for me, okay? And so that doesn't mean I'm gonna be hopping on every plastic surgeon's table to make it happen.
Oh, where are you leaving your stuff?
Well, I don't mean to be flippant about it, but it's just, that's
So,
where I'm at with this, especially with the patio. The patio was supposed to be like one plan, and all of a sudden, it's an explosion at the paver department. And it looks beautiful, but then you find yourself here, and it's like, do now and apologize later. It's a theme that I've always said up on this board. So they're very familiar with my position on
Are
that.
you also upset the way, or concerned like Davey is, of the appearance of a detached garage?
No, I wasn't too concerned about that much. I really.
And we would have, with
I
the
thought that's what you
breezeway, we thought that was the better way to do it. We would not have a problem pushing the garage up to or near to. I would love to leave a 4-foot walkway between the garage and the house, to be able to access that, because they go from the garage to the basement entry stair there. But we could move that back, and that would, if we left 4 feet, that would move 4, that would leave 6 feet, and that would put us 41 and a half feet, from the front property line.
How high is that vinyl fence?
6 feet.
That's a 6-foot, it was approved by the board.
With a 2-foot lattice, which we got approved, we had to do.
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
Okay. And then the other question I had,
Very
so how
clearly.
did the patio become so much bigger than what was approved?
That we don't, no, we
You had,
got-
you paid for it.
our contractors told them what we wanted, and
There's a
that's.
drawing of what it was supposed to be in the packet,
Uh-huh.
and it's markedly different, so you didn't just go home and hear it.
Well, we told our contractor what we wanted, and this is what he said.
We did it, and then, you know, we went in,
Wow.
impression that it
This
was
is
okay.
what it was approved.
Yeah, but you signed off on the original plan, right? You signed off on the plan that's on the original approval. So when you go home and see something totally different, I'm sure it looks great. But when you see something totally different than what you had expected, you might want to ask the question. And then you gotta realize there is some other permit pieces to that.
We left it in the hands of our contractor, right?
I get it, I get it.
You know, so we told him what we wanted, and he said, okay, we'll do this part first. And then once the pool went in, we went ahead and finished it. So we were under the impression that everything was approved. We went with
Did
our
you show,
contractor.
did you show your contractor the approved plan?
He was
They
the one
got-
that,
they
he's the one
got
that
everything
They took
approved.
care of it with the town.
No, I
We just
don't,
paid him.
you gotta, there's a survey that shows a smaller patio, an old survey.
But you also had to come here for variance. I'm sure you provided testimony before, correct?
For the fence.
For the fence.
Okay, and there was a plan, I'm sure, with it.
And who did that task for you, the fence on the drawing?
Fence, I did it.
Along the short, it got done, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Who
It's a
told
person.
who what is not really gonna be relevant.
And can you describe the covered kitchen to me?
It's just a cabana with a gazebo with a,
I have a photograph in photograph number 5 that does show a photograph back here, photograph 5. Shows, it's
Oh,
a,
okay.
an
And what's in
open, they have a countertop with a kitchen to build the
just the,
It's a countertop, and then we have a grill that we squeezed into there. There's a little sink, and then there's a fridge that we put in.
Was that on the original permit when you asked for the,
Yeah.
that was there?
yeah.
'Cause, I mean, on here it says, did I see that right? I might have missed it.
So that was part of the original plan.
Well, it says we want to legalize the covered kitchen, so that couldn't have been on the original plan, right?
That was before the pool and everything. That was when we had our whole house done the first time.
I'm just going by what it says on here. It says we're here to legalize the covered kitchen as well.
That wasn't,
That was our
That was
notification,
added on.
that was our notification from the zoning office that.
All right, so it wasn't on the original plan?
No.
Oh, that's why I just asked you, and you
Yeah.
had said yes, sorry,
It was,
my fault.
so that was a notification we got from the zoning office that when we submitted our plan that showed the outdoor kitchen, it shows the outdoor patio at the size that it is, they came back and told us they gave us that piece of paper that mentioned that it was larger than previously approved, and when we come before you with our request for the 4.9% of over the 20, that we would include that to legalize, as she put it, that part of it. Our Yeah, we looked, again, looking at locations, looking at that. One of the things that we had discussed with regard to whether it was an activity center or it was a garage, was I told them that what the boards have to look at is how this is going to be for a long time, forever. That you look at this, so to build a activity center room or playroom anywhere on the property, may not last forever. But by building a one-car garage, it could be utilized forever, it blends in with the house, and we thought that was the best presentation we could make by making it that garage.
What did you interpret this one, like engineer's report?
The engineer's report, which we just received, and as Mrs. Godhani testified, we, after discussing with the zoning office, and now seeing this, we talked, and she mentioned in her direct testimony that we're open to, or would like to present that we would build dry wells, engineered dry wells into here, to take over any of the increase in runoff. And that would be increase in runoff from our new application with the garage, and anything over the 20% allowed, which would take, so that 4.9%, we would engineer the dry wells and take over whole 4.9% over the 20%. We think that assists us with the C2 benefit.
So recap is you're gonna slide the garage back, so there'll be a 4-foot alleyway, breezeway, and the reason for that 4 feet is to provide access to the basement.
It provide access to the backyard. The exterior basement door is in the backyard, so both, yes, and that's the.
The exterior, I thought the exterior door was outside the.
No, there is.
Through the garage.
On the east side, the right rear side of the building, at that location is where the existing walk and stairs down to the basement.
Access to the basement.
And moving it back would be 6 foot,
That would be 6 foot,
currently a 10-foot wide space, it'll become 4.
correct.
So that's
And
6.
and you'll agree with the township engineer's report, and I think.
We agreed to engineer that and for his approval.
And I think you agreed to further landscape the proposed garage.
Yes, we had previously landscaped all in front, and we would continue that, and at whatever suggestion the engineer would have for those plantings, we would do that.
I'm just trying to move this along.
Thank
Does the garage need a height variance if you get rid of the breezeway?
No.
No.
Still connected.
He's gonna, no.
Oh, does it need a front yard variance?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 2 feet.
A height variance.
No,
No.
it's a part of the principal structure.
Attached, the breezeway makes it attached.
That's
No,
what-
we're
If you get rid of the breezeway,
Then you might have a problem.
Then,
that's what he's talking about.
Well, I thought we would leave a roof over that 4 foot, just
Leave
where
a
it's
connection.
connected.
Okay.
There's gonna be a
Makes
connection.
sense.
It's all part of the principal structure.
okay.
And the
Moving on.
garage will be the same as the exterior of the existing home.
Correct.
Any other questions over here on the left?
The air conditioning unit is for the garage?
Yeah, this is a through the wall, so it's shown on there because it sticks out
Like a
beyond
split,
it.
like a split unit?
Yes, yeah,
There's gonna be no living space in the garage.
no. There was a floor plan, it's just one open.
You get hit by a golf
Are you heating the garage in the wintertime also? No, just air conditioning? Just air conditioning it in summertime?
Air conditioned summer.
So you hit golf balls.
How about winter time?
Winter time, if we're allowed to put a heater, that would be great too.
Well, but you're not coming here for that right now.
You're
so
not
let's
putting
go
any,
there.
Yeah.
That's really not the issue.
Mr. Chairman, after discussion, first of all, the yard is a very lovely yard. They've done a wonderful job with the property at this point. And the concessions they made and willing to move some things, I'll be voting in favor of the application with the applicant.
All right, you're satisfied. All right.
We're okay with the doubling of the patio?
Excuse me?
We're okay with the doubling of the patio?
That's not what we're voting on tonight, Bernie.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we
They're
are.
gonna provide drainage for the entire thing. Any questions of these witnesses on the testimony given this evening? Hear none, see none. There's nothing else you'd like to add at this point? No? No. Okay, I'm again gonna caution the board that if we are not in a unified yes vote, we're gonna go to conference.
Before we go to the vote, I'm just gonna throw one more thing out there. Don't hit me with anything. So you have the new garage proposed. My thought, looking at that, what if you were to extend the current garage into the driveway and you could fit 4 cars in it, you just have to double.
Tandem parking.
No, attach it to the,
I really don't think
All right.
that's a solution, double deck cars when you want
No.
to put a second garage in. I really don't think that's a
It's like
solution.
building a tunnel.
Okay. I'm gonna ask this question again. Are we unified here, or are we going to go into conference?
I'm good.
No conference, okay. Someone make
is that
a,
true?
someone make a recommendation?
I think,
David did.
David already did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
David
Oh, Davey already did, I apologize, okay.
Yeah, you just interrupted.
All right, fine, so, did I
You
hear
did
the
the
comments in the public to the public? I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Yeah, we did.
You did, okay. So someone frame a resolution so we
I
can
would
move
do
on.
questions, I don't know if we did comments.
We didn't do any what?
Comments from the
I thought we
public. I
did.
know we did questions.
I'll just go back again.
Didn't I?
I think.
I might have missed it. I heard.
Not at the end.
Okay. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application, in support of this application? Okay, I hear none, see none. Frame a resolution, someone? So we can move on. Bernie?
I move we adopt, I don't even know where my calendar is.
Application 22:68, Rikesh Godani,
Thank you.
1 Waterloo Drive, Block 18.2, Lot number 3, Zone R-1, to issue a grant a C variance to construct a garage addition, breezeway addition, driveway expansion and air conditioning unit, and legalize a paver patio and covered kitchen cabana contrary to section 430-35, column 4. In contrary to engineers, in compliance with the engineer's report, and
His report gave a whole lot of options, that we get it approved.
you are complying with that. And also, spruce trees and all that stuff, Parks and Forest Department.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes,
Jaskowitz.
I'm gonna say yes, but it's very frustrating that you didn't catch this doubling of the patio, and now you're coming back and asking for more. I'm gonna say yes, because I think you are doing a nice job, and it's gonna be okay, but not great.
Kaplan.
Ditto Droskowitz, yes.
Mazzarella.
Make that 3 of us, but yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes, again, unhappy with, do now, apologize later.
Willens.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes. Results of variance is granted. And just for a word of caution to the members of the public that are here today, and you might want to go home and tell your friends. If you're thinking about doing something, come over and talk to the zoning office. They don't charge you, okay? Because I'll be honest with you, we are getting much tougher on applications where work has already been done. And I've already had discussions with the administration about instituting a surcharge, that if you put up if you do something to your property without a permit, and then we approve it, there's gonna be a big surcharge to get your zoning permit. So, put the word out to everybody, and I don't know if am I camera? Am I going out to the public?
You're.
So, okay,
always
public,
go to the
listen to me, because this is frustrating. This is very frustrating for us. 5-minute break.
Oh, wait, we have one small thing, don't we?
Open this application.
5 Everett Road.
Okay, let's move ahead, guys, quickly. Gotta go.
Sir, could you raise your hand? Do you swear a firm testimony you're about to give before the board is true self you got? And for the record, you are Mr. Shah, the owner of the subject property? Okay, thank you, you're sworn. If you just have a seat and speak into the microphone, thank you. Mr. Chairman, the witness is sworn.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. So,
Legalized patio.
you got the zoning order?
was this an application we already had,
Yes.
Yes.
You're supposed to have like a engineer's report, right?
Got the, bricks,
Bricks,
stone.
I didn't hear that.
Did you meet with the engineer?
Yeah, I went over there and he said you don't need to engineer.
Really?
Oh, good.
That's not true.
The Brandon say you don't need to engineer.
Okay.
Just need the work this size. They gave me this. You have to done like this size. Driveway.
Do we have that, what he's showing us, Nora?
It was the original, engineer, and he said, he went to engineer, and
He's
they
got
gave
some-
him a picture of a dry well.
He's got something different in his hand than we have.
He gave the calculation.
Yeah. They gave me
He
calculation.
gave the calculation.
What is this we're looking at? I don't know.
This is a report from back in October.
Yeah. What is this?
I have no idea.
Maybe.
Nora, who took these pictures?
He took the pictures. He was supposed to remove the concrete curbing, clean up the concrete from the neighbor's property, supplied before and after pictures, work with the engineer, township, or otherwise.
Where's the proof of that?
I actually emailed, the township engineer, that he came in a few days ago to say he didn't need it, and they gave him a picture of a dry well. I emailed the secretary, she sent the email on to Brandon, who never replied.
All right, so we're still out in the cold.
We're still out in the cold.
So I would recommend to the board that we carry this case and ask for a confirmation letter from the engineer.
This letter says the concrete wasn't even broken up. Is that true?
Well, that's the October letter.
Or after October one?
So it looks like the pictures, they broke up something.
Is the concrete patio supposed to be removed?
So what are these pictures supposed to be showing us again, just quick?
Supposed to be showing he took the concrete out.
It's just kind
What is this picture?
Yeah,
What is this picture?
it doesn't really
The
matter.
stone, I took it, the stone.
Okay, doesn't matter, without the engineer's report, we can't prove this, we gotta carry it. I move we carry this case.
The neighbor property,
Second.
still stone over there on the line. So,
I'm sorry, I move we carry the case, Chairman, till we get the engineer's report.
You got a second?
So there was a first and second to carry the case.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have a
We're
date?
gonna have a date here. May 17th.
Is anybody here for this case? May 17th is the next meeting of this case, and you will give us an extension of time in order that we can continue to process this, okay?
for the driver,
What's that?
He needs to know what he needs to do.
You have to get ahold of the engineer. You spoke
need
with.
engineer.
You need that report from him, file it with Nora, so the board can see it before the next meeting.
Okay.
You got 2 months. How to get done. Now, you have to understand, there's a point in time where the extensions won't be granted, you'll be denied, and all the pavement that's above the allowed will have to be removed. So I've got to emphasize to you, don't wait until the last couple of days to see something.
Did you understand?
Yeah, I have to do the engineer.
You want to-
Okay,
Okay. Very good.
And,
Before I call the
my
next-
property, the township driver is there, still I need township, is it my property?
All right, sir, you may need to talk to an engineer or hire an attorney, because the board can't give you legal advice or engineering.
Show him. Show the engineer.
yeah, show the engineer, yeah.
Show the engineer.
Township engineer.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
Case 2270, it's a D variance, or is the applicant here? I don't think we're gonna get to you. I'm sorry to say. I don't think we're gonna get to you. Because with the next case, we have another residential, and then we've got a C variance to construct a 4-story house, which I think is gonna take some time. So, what do you got, Nora, what do you got for this?
Is it possible that we could get him on a special half-hour meeting?
Well, it's gonna need more time than that.
I can keep it to an hour.
What,
But we have another.
how many witnesses?
Keep it to a half hour.
I brought the applicant, I brought our engineer, and I brought John McDonough.
Okay,
And, because we're repurposing the structure as a therapy for
High
people
school
with autism,
lawyers.
we're gonna make it real quick.
what kind of property is it right now?
It's a beautiful house on 1035 Littleton across from, St. Christopher's Church.
It's a residential house?
Yeah, we
It is
said
residential.
nine-
But
It's approved for commercial use.
Is that the one where the real estate, oh, is that where the chiropractor used to be?
No, lawyer.
No. He was a graphic
Oh, it was
artist.
Mark Weiner's old house?
He was a graphic
Mark-
artist.
Mr. McDonough?
Mark Weiner's old house?
Here.
Yeah, it's a single story, I mean, single frame, white frame house. It's already gotten about 16 variances. Are you kidding me?
You know, the issue is, and I know this is not the board's, but this, we've been under contract for quite a while.
Okay,
We've been carrying the costs for the property for quite a while.
Okay.
And we have a difficult sell.
okay, can we get a 7 o'clock meeting? What's the
No,
next?
wait, he said he can do this in half an hour.
Yeah, well, we got 2 other cases ahead of him.
Oh, okay.
7 o'clock meeting, next,
Can we do April 5th? It's our next meeting.
April 5th? April 5th at 7 o'clock?
Fine with me.
We'll make it,
Okay.
make it happen. Check with-
I just have a feeling that I want to see you sit around for, because besides that, if, you know, 9:45, what good is it gonna do me
You know, so-
to,
And you've had the most difficult house residential application I've ever seen.
of my lifetime?
My God, every one of these is difficult.
John's been at a lot of these meetings. Have you ever seen difficult?
This is difficult. So, okay, so, if the board is okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do a special meeting at 7 o'clock on April 5th. And if we go over a little bit past the half hour, we'll work with you, but,
We'll keep it.
yeah, we want to, it doesn't sound like it's a terribly, okay, John.
Ask if there are any objections.
Okay, let's go.
He tried to make it, yeah, 2-family. Yep, 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 and besides, yeah.
If Peter can make an announcement for carrying the notice, that would be wonderful.
Okay, yeah, and there will be no further notice of this application by the board or the applicant. So if you're here for this case, April 5th, 7 PM.
All right, go.
Thank you very much.
And you'll give all extensions if any are needed.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, okay. So let's call case, 2274. Himdaya, 511 Lakeshore Drive, C variance to construct a 2-story, single-family dwelling with open stairs, open deck with stairs. It's not already built. It's not already built.
Good question. Who's gonna provide testimony? Engineer, okay, so the 2 fact witnesses, raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony about to give before the board is true self you got? And
Sorry,
your
folks.
first name? And yours? And how do you spell your name, ma'am?
JGL.
Okay. And you're the owners of the subject property? Okay, you're sworn, have a seat, you can talk into the microphone. Sir, raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony about to give before the board is true self you got? And you're the engineer? And you're gonna be providing expert testimony? And all your and all your licenses are in full force and effect? And you've been qualified either for this board or other boards in the state of New Jersey? All right, thank you, you've been qualified as an expert.
What was your name? What was your name, engineer?
Mr. Richard.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so, somebody gonna get the ball rolling here?
Yeah. My name is Hitendra Pandya.
Speak a little louder.
And a little louder, please. Can you hear now? Hi everyone. My name is Hitendra Pandya. I'm living Lake Parsippany since last 15 years in the near the lake. So now we are building a new house in the front of the lake.
Yeah, you gotta speak into the mic.
And louder. Close. We building a new house at 511 Lakeshore Drive in the front of the lake. 5-bedroom house.
What happened to 2279?
So what variances do you need?
We need the variance like we building like over like a 20% we are going.
4% impervious coverage.
No, building.
3 point.
Building coverage.
Building coverage is,
Maybe the engineer can address what we need.
microphone.
Microphone.
The zoning office identified 3 variances. The rear yard, 20 foot's allowed, 17.6 is proposed. The yards and courts, 24% allowed, 27.85 proposed, and the building coverage, 20% is allowed, and 23.88%. The existing house faces the side road. They're gonna change the orientation of the house. The faces the Lakeview Drive currently. The new house would face Atlantic,
Okay.
so that they can build a deck that would face the lake. Currently, it's a corner lot, so you really only have two sides, but I've identified that a rear yard, current rear yard is 18.4 because it's on the other side, would now be 17.6. Current front yard is 22.2, where 25 is required. We'll be making the front yard conforming to 25.5. The dwelling, there is 20% coverage is allowed. They need a slightly larger house, moderate size, 2,624 square foot. So that gives you a little more coverage. The maximum total coverage is compliant. It's actually 2% less than what the existing is.
The new structure is going to be 2% less than the existing structure?
Yes. The existing total coverage is 36.4, proposed is 34.2. So we're reducing coverage slightly. Also proposed a dry well to take care of the roof runoff.
Okay. This is R4, which I think is 6,000 square foot.
6,000 square foot, and we have 10,900.
How much?
85.
8,500.
10,500.
Okay, so you have a big lot.
It's a big lot, yeah.
Yeah. Looks like
It's a corner lot, like I said.
Why is it necessary to have that deck encroach? That's the only one that has a really
Yeah.
major variance.
Well,
Is that to get to the back or some reason, or?
Because of the lake passing here.
But is it possible to align with the building wall?
12.6
What is
feet.
that?
The deck goes to the side.
Yeah, that's a variance, correct?
No, that wasn't identified as a variance.
It's 12.6 feet.
Okay.
The decks are allowed to go further back, further out.
In this zone? All right, I'll take your word for it.
Well, it's, I mean, I'm going.
The zoning
by
officer did
I'm
not.
going by what,
Yeah, I saw.
zoning office said.
Okay.
A two-car garage?
Yes,
How many bedrooms?
5 bedroom.
Two floors? Two-story?
Yeah, 2 story, yes.
Put the basement in?
Basement, yes,
Basement?
yes.
It'll be a nice house. It'll be a very nice house.
Yeah.
You're lucky you got that big piece of property there.
Yeah. We try very hard for
Those
this
are hard to
property.
come by, boy. You're lucky if you get a 40 by 100. Oh, so even the facade, the look from the streets looks very, very nice. Any other questions by the board?
Nope.
Any members of the public have any questions of these witnesses on the testimony given this evening? Please come forward. You're gonna have to identify yourself and speak to a microphone.
Ma'am, for the record, can you state and spell your name?
Hi, everybody.
That comes out.
I don't need to. My name is Lillian Whitney Morley. I reside at 58 Summit Road in Lake Parsippany.
I'm sorry, what is your name?
Lillian Whitney Morley. That's sorry. I just have a question for the prospective homeowners. I've lived in Parsippany since 1963, and I live.
Speak into the mic.
I live in Lake Parsippany, and I.
Pull it out.
Thank you. I've lived in the lakes, as I said, since 1963, and, I walk around quite a bit, and the amount of McMansions that have been built.
Excuse me, what's your question?
My question is, how many families will be actually living in that house?
I don't think that's a zoning question.
And-
If it's a one-family house,
One family.
am I wrong?
It's a one-family
It's a
house.
one-family house.
one-family
We-
house,
We
okay.
can't, I mean, there are occupancy laws in this town, but we're granting a variance on a one-family house.
Okay, and then my other question, and I don't know if this is okay to ask here, because I've never been to a zoning meeting before, so this is my first time, so please bear with me. How is that going to fit into that neighborhood? Because I walk there all the time. There's a few bigger houses down the street.
Please, you
Not
asked the
time and
question.
place.
You wanna know how the house is gonna fit into the
Okay.
neighborhood, okay?
It's actually a good question.
Can you answer that question? Are there similar houses in the neighborhood of this style and?
Yes, there is a few houses, yeah, bigger than this, yeah.
It's on a moderate sized house,
Yeah.
it's 2,600 square feet, it's not a very large.
And
Really
in
large
your
house.
professional opinion, this house will fit in well with the neighborhood and on this particular lot?
Yes.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other members of the public have any questions? I hear none and see none. Any other questions by the board? It seems like it's the easiest one we've had all night.
Or we're just beaten down.
Fire trucks and all that.
We're good. I'm sorry, Nancy, I can't hear what you're saying.
No, I was being facetious,
Oh.
Chair.
All right,
Sufficient, reasons for granting the variances, there's no, the hardship is it's a corner lot.
corner lot, yep, corner lot. So you're through with your testimony?
Yeah.
Are there any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application, in support of this application? I hear none and see none. Good application, somebody?
Yeah, it seems
A lot
like
of
it's a good
positives?
application. There's no one here to really object. Looks like a nice house, that doesn't seem overly sized, so I'll be voting for it.
Someone frame a resolution?
Go for it, Scott.
Application 22:74, Hetendra Pandia, 511 Lakeshore Drive, Block 329, Lot 5, Zone R4. Recommend granting a C variance to construct a two-story, single-family dwelling and open deck with stairs contrary to section 430-35, columns 7 and 10, and section 430-10I.
Second, ready?
Any discussion or call the roll?
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Kaplan.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Willens.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes. Results of variance is granted.
Thank
We
you.
will memorialize this at your next meeting, at our next meeting, and we can proceed. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Okay, application 2281, Salal El-Zain, I'm sorry, 880 Littleton Road, seeking a C variance to construct a four-story
Sir,
house.
if you could raise your right hand, do you swear firm the testimony you're about to give before the board's true self you got? And for the record, you're the owner of that subject property?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Elzine?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, you're sworn, you can have a seat. Sir, are you gonna testify? Okay, and you've testified here before, I think, on a similar, and there was a question, there was some issues with regard to credibility, correct? Okay, so could you raise your right hand, sir? You swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before the board true self you got?
Yes, I do.
And your name for the record?
Jeffrey Jeffrey.
And you're an architect, correct?
Architect, but also a planner,
Okay. And how you spell your last name?
G-O-G-A-N.
Case order, 2279?
2281.
And all your licenses are in full force and effect?
Yes, they are.
And you've been provided testimony before this board and other boards? And you understand that you have to tell the truth, you have to be truthful, you can't make up things, and, thank you.
We make up everything up here.
We can.
This one is 880 Littleton Road. Who's gonna start?
Yes.
Well, it's your application, you're going to, speak to why you
Yes,
need a 3 or 4-story home.
okay, so now I just make it sound. Yeah, my name's Salah Hazem, and I've been living in Parsippany of 7 years actually here to be renting. And I have a big family. I have 6 kids, and the place we're living right now is really very small. I will try to achieve American dream just to build my own house. I buy this lot 2 years ago actually, might be a little bit less than that. And would like to build a house that fits all my family. And we have a big family, actually, extended family. Sometimes there is a
sorry.
family coming from overseas to visit me and stay with me 2, 3 months. My mother, father, I mean, sorry, my father, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law, brother-in-law, sometimes they stay with us. That's the reason we would like to build this house. And hopefully, all of you here can help us to achieve that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes,
How
sir.
many kitchens are gonna be in this house?
I have 6 kids.
How many kitchens?
Kitchen? One kitchen.
You got one in the basement.
No kitchen in the basement, Your Honor.
There's a counter, there's all the space to have a kitchen.
No kitchen in the basement.
Well, you don't plan to put a kitchen in, do you?
No.
You know,
The reason I asked this question up front is whether or not this is a two-family as opposed to a single family. Because if it's a two-family, we need to renotice. And it certainly appears that the elements for a kitchen are in the basement.
Still, the answer is no kitchen in the basement.
What's the answer to the two-family?
I don't understand, what do you mean, two
Is
family?
it a one-family home or gonna be a two-family?
Only one family, only my family.
One kitchen, one family.
One kitchen, one family.
My memory serves me correct, and actually at one time there was a house on this property.
Absolutely.
And the
you are
house was owned by a client of mine.
That's picture, right?
Yeah, well, I don't remember what it looked like. But the issue was that getting from 202 onto the property, there's a big dip, right? I mean, you're way below grade of, I don't know, 10, 12 feet below the grade of 202. And that's gonna be the only ingress and egresses, and through that little space in the steel barrier there along there, that's how you're gonna get in and out, and it has to come up a hill. What is the justification for saying, well, not for saying, but having a four-story house? I don't quite understand.
Anything else you want to say as far as your family purpose? I'll go ahead and...
You can go ahead, but if they have anyone ask, have a question for me, I will be more than happy to answer.
Just pick up the microphone.
202 and 204. Okay, now the roads will come.
Yeah.
Do we have to ask if there's any questions from the public for him?
Yes.
Please come forward. Explain.
Ma'am, just for the record, can you state and spell your name?
Susan, G-I-Z-Z-A.
Take the mic.
And what's your address?
20 Park Road.
Thank you.
My backyard, the side of my backyard butts up to the property. So I just had a couple of questions, and I'm new to doing this myself. How can I see the plans and how close they are to the property lines?
He should be able to tell you, right now.
Okay.
Mr. Gogan, can you tell her?
This is a site plan that Morgan engineered prepared. I was very intimately involved with the process with them. We knew that we were going to need the surveyor to document everything, so we wanted him to be involved. But this is the property, and I can show you a map of the whole vicinity, but this is the corner property on Park Road. I think you must be the next one, right? Are you-
I'm on Park Road, the second house. Oh, right. Mhm.
Your house would be right up in here, right, sort of off the corner of this property, right? Your backyard.
If this is
right in-
Littleton? Is this
No,
Littleton?
Littleton is
Okay. So, Park Road is over here?
Yes.
Okay. I know my backyard.
Can you speak up, please?
I'm sorry. I know my backyard, kind of butts up to, like, if that's where the existing house was, my backyard, along the fence line would be like here.
You have the pool?
No, that's the first house.
I have a area on here.
Okay.
So I think you must be in this.
Yes, right there. So my side backyard butts up against it? Yes.
So that the house is located a little to the left of this property, so that the driveway can come down and around, sweep into the side garage.
Okay,
So, and we are compliant, all the setbacks are compliant on the project. We aren't asking for any variances for setbacks.
okay. So how close is, I'm sorry, my neighbor who lives here is on vacation, so he asked me.
So you remember, this here, and then I'll show you, here we are again.
Uh-huh.
And we're a little over, right around 10 feet to the actual siding. So that's the requirement.
10 feet from the property line? Okay.
And there'll be some shrubs and, landscaping in there.
Is that the house or including any patio or,
That's the house itself.
okay,
A little further over is where there's a graduate porch, but that's, off the corner.
okay,
And, so it's basically just. Oh, yeah.
okay.
I have, a couple of illustrations here that I can show you. I'll come back to these. By the way, these are new exhibits that we did not submit with the application. I don't know if you want to mark them, but they're.
You're gonna have to mark them, yes.
Okay. So I have, several renderings here of the buildings.
Beautiful.
And, this is the view you would see from their yard, okay, looking at the back corner. You would be a little bit more to the left, and be seeing it more from this angle.
Okay, so this is where we consider the fourth story?
This is what they're considered, they're calling it the fourth story. I'll
Okay.
address that in a moment. It's really an attic with some windows, but it's not a fourth story. So these are the two main stories, and then there's a walkout basement. That's why.
Topography. Situation.
Okay,
That's basically it. It's basically a two-and-a-half story walkout basement. Not the one like other houses.
okay, well, on paper, it just seemed excessive when it said a fourth story, so. Okay,
All the rafters are sitting right on the attic floor, except for a couple of dormer type floors.
okay,
So just so you know, that when he says it's 2.5 stories, that's not necessarily what we agree with.
okay,
That's him saying it.
Officer calls that a story. I'm not saying that she's wrong.
Right.
It's just the terminology.
No, it's just that she's new to the process.
yes,
So if she sees someone authoritative saying it's 2.5 stories, she might believe that, but that has not been established by us.
okay,
Fair?
yeah,
I'm just saying it in a more.
okay. And I'm sorry, so you said from 10 Park Road, it's 10 foot from his fence line, and then from the back, so where it hits my property line, how far is that?
That is, 14.9 to the deck, and,
Okay,
26 on this corner to the building. There'll be more over here, a little office.
okay, all right,
If it makes you feel any better, the plan does not require a variance as far as setbacks,
okay,
so.
all right, yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
So, are you building this house to live in?
Absolutely, sir, yes.
Here, you're gonna live here.
This is my first house, sir. I never bought a house or anything. This is my first one.
So, if I'm looking from, 202, let's say I was laying down in the road and looking towards this house, how much of the house would I see from
This
202?
This is the view looking straight in, not laying down, but at a typical normal eye height.
That's what you're gonna see,
This is what you're gonna see.
which looks like a two-story house.
It's basically, that's what the intention was. Because of the drop off, there's a fully exposed garage on the left side, on the right side of the house. And then there's a walkout on the rear.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much filled around the front and side.
How many bedrooms is it?
I'm sorry?
How many bedrooms, how many square feet?
It's 6 bedrooms, because we have 2 rooms in the basement that are gonna be called bedrooms, and they have egress and everything. The square footage, I do have a chart somewhere here.
But we're not considering the basement a level, though, right? Or
Yeah,
story.
you are.
If they're living in it, that's what I'm saying, they have to.
The town-
So you have,
township-
you have the basement's one level, first floor, second floor, that's 3 levels.
Three
You
levels,
got the
three
attic
levels,
with
3
the-
finished levels, yes.
3 finished
Except for the garages.
And you got the attic with a full staircase into that attic.
Yeah.
So that's
We
gonna
have
be
some
living,
habitable area in the attic.
so that's a
Some-
4th story then?
The attic is inhabitable or not?
There is some finished area in the attic that we, for like,
This is like
with
deja
so
vu.
many, well, it's people in the family.
Well, it's also suspicious because if our planner is concerned that in the basement, there is a setup that looks like a duck, and we're calling it a cat, it's a little weird. And then we have space in the attic for more people. So,
Labeled habitable.
it's seeming to get away from that one family, 2-story concept, to me.
Regardless of it, it's a monstrosity that doesn't blend in with the setting of that neighborhood. Yeah, it's huge.
Well, I'd be glad to walk through the plans.
Sure.
It really is just a large family. Some of them are working at home, some of them are studying at home, needing extra room for private areas for those activities. And they like being at home, they don't, like to go out, and they'd like to have friends over. So it's
Is that your
really,
expert
it's really
testimony?
just a.
Is that your expert testimony, or did someone tell you that?
I'm
So
telling
that's
you what I
hearsay.
was told, it was the
Okay,
program
so it's
before the
hearsay.
house, yes. But that's what we were asked to design for, is to provide for these activities in a single-family house. We don't have a kitchen downstairs. I'm looking at the plan here. It's just an open room in the back, two rooms here, a mechanical room, and a stack washer, some cubbies for like coming in
Bathroom
from the
down there?
garage, a little mudroom area.
Bathroom down there too, right?
We have a bathroom.
And you have a door separating that floor from the floor above it,
No, it's an open stair, an open interior stair.
but a door could be put somewhere.
It would not be easy to put a door, you probably could. You could put a door at the top of the basement stairs, yes.
Is there an entrance in the back there? Is there a way to get into the basement from anywhere outside the house?
Yes. Walk out basement.
Okay, is there a stairwell from the back?
We have a door to the garage, and we also have a sliding door from the rec room in the back to the patio. There's a patio
recreation
below
room
the
is in the
deck.
basement?
Excuse me?
The recreation room is in the basement?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a rec room in the basement.
There's 2 of them, right? It says Rec A and Rec B.
But that's just to give the rectangular areas so that he could see for furniture, but it's one big room.
But what's to the right of that? It says,
The garage.
This says Rec B here, and this says Rec A, but this is all garage room here. Oh, I'm sorry, you're talking about this room here.
yeah.
They're talking about maybe using that bay of the garage for some exercise equipment for sometimes, right? And so it'll double as a garage. It's built as a garage with a garage door.
I'm looking, there's the garage there. Right here it says Rec B,
Yes.
and it says Rec A.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's 2 separate rooms, open, but almost planned as 2 separate rooms and 2 bedrooms.
It's really,
Like a living room,
it's one room.
dining room.
It's just that I wanted to give him the
Sure,
rectangular
it's like
area.
another apartment.
But no, it's not an apartment. It's one big room in the back there.
Okay. Sliders.
You understand our concern, it looks like a beautiful structure, but it's well oversized for that area, below the deck. Apparently, okay, that would be our observation here, and it also looks like it's a pretty good setup that, it wouldn't be too stretch of imagination to have 2 or 3 families living there and coming in different entrances.
Well said.
So, and that is a major concern. Can you
There
do
is
anything?
only
to
my
alleviate that
family, they
concern?
will live in there.
Pardon me?
Nobody going, except my family, my kids and me, my mother-in-law, that's about it. Nobody else going to
And
live.
you might be the present owner, but you could sell it to someone who could very easily do something different.
Who's living in the house? You?
Yes,
Who else?
I have 6 kids, my wife,
6 kids?
yes.
I missed that, okay. You have 6 kids, a wife, so there's 8.
And most of the time, all the time actually, I have somebody visiting from overseas, my mother-in-law, my
Okay,
father-in-law,
9.
my brother-in-law. A lot of people coming all the time.
So you want to be able to have people sleep there, up to 12 people, right?
I'm sorry,
Up to 12 people, you like to be allowed to sleep.
not 12,
He's giving examples of guests, but
I
they wouldn't all
understand,
be
that's what
there
I'm
at the
giving
same
you.
time.
not 12, no, not 12, but anybody can come in, welcome.
What are the ages of your kids? Are they small children, or are
I
they?
have small from 7 to 22.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions?
So the top floor, you say there's gonna have access to the top floor, and there's finished flooring up there, so people, is that, what are you gonna do up there in the top floor? You're gonna have, when you have extra relatives, you're gonna have a ability for them to sleep upstairs on the fourth floor there?
It's just for the kids, when they play, they can play upstairs over there. Just for kids.
It's just one open stair from the foyer down in the second floor, goes all the way up. We do put a door just because we may not finish it all at once, so there's just a way to have a finished stairwell and then leave the attic until they're ready to finish it. And it's really just a habitable area for overflow, for hobbies, or for, if someone's studying or needs a little private area.
It just seems that this project is a make it up as we go along type of project, which concerns me. But again, you know, the scale of it is so inconsistent to
I do have some,
the neighborhood.
more colored renderings, if you like, I'll pass them around, they give you a little bit better impression, maybe.
Honestly, I don't mean to be sarcastic, but I guess that's the mood I'm in today. It just looks at like an opening shot of Parsippany's version of Dallas. You know, that show, you know, where it's the opening shot. Bump, bump, bump. It really does, and it's concerning to me because it's one of these things where, you know, I applaud you in wanting to have this big house, but this is the wrong location.
Do you want to mark that? Do you want to mark that?
Yes, let's mark all of these colored ones.
And I don't think you have to convince us of the aesthetics of the house. It's nice.
It's a beautiful home.
Well,
Can I
what
have
I'm trying
one,
to
please?
show is that it really is not that big a house. I don't know why you're getting that impression.
Well, it's 4 floors.
It's for,
And 6
come
bedrooms.
on.
Well, that's.
And then you're calling an attic, and even in your own drawings here, it says it's gonna be habitable at some point in time. And again, just based on your own rhetoric, going through the phases of this project, it seems like everything is so tentative, and it seems like you're making it up as you go along.
I'm not making anything up.
And we have a responsibility to this
What I drew
community.
here. It's just, the idea was, instead of having a big empty volume under the roof, to have some finished area that they could use for either clean storage or maybe some overflow for a hobby, or somebody wants to listen to something, and, you know, there's not a lot of extra space on the second floor, so if.
Well, you have the 2 rooms in the bottom in the basement, on top of the bedrooms. The Rec A and Rec B area. That's a
And you
hobby
got a
room.
third bay garage that's not used, yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know.
I think you have
If we
to-
didn't finish the attic, you would still see the same house, you know, it would still have the same roof, essentially. And by the way, if you want to mark these.
What's the height going to be? 'Cause I think you
We are
measured,
not asking for a height variance, we're under the required height.
what's the height?
The height is 34 something, let me just tell you exactly.
Where's that measured from?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's that measured from, the front or the back?
The ordinance tells you how to measure height. You have to take an average of the corner topography, and there's a
Understood.
calculation on the sheet that
Yeah,
shows.
we know that, okay. All right, and so you're
So
saying,
we comply with that.
Why don't we come back to the variances?
Yeah.
You're an undersized lot, do you know whether there was any buy-sell limits?
Right, okay. So essentially,
Did you offer to purchase or to sell to the adjoiners? Is any land available?
I didn't catch that, but did you want to mark these first? And then
I think you should, yes.
Okay.
And that would be A2, that packet.
This whole, all these, we call A2.
Yes.
Just briefly, for everyone, buy-sell letters are simply the requirement is if you have an undersized lot and the lots adjoining you could provide the difference, then you have to offer to buy or to sell your lot to them.
I never heard that.
All right.
We don't think we've encountered any applications where there
No,
really was any land.
yeah.
You go back when you.
But I don't know
Talking
yet.
about 40-foot lots next to each other.
Right.
Nobody's giving,
No, so
nobody's taking. John's very right, very much right, very
Do
correct.
you know whether the lots adjoining you have surplus lot area?
I doubt that, I doubt that. And the reason, also there is a house.
Do you know?
No.
Okay. Let's
Yeah,
not,
I can say a little bit about that.
do you know?
Well, this property is New Jersey, is the DOT. It's part of this highway, property, okay?
Okay,
Right-
so
right
that's
to the
not
right.
available.
So that's not available, and it's all green, by the way. It's all developed forested area.
But you did not offer your property to them.
No, we have not written to them and offered to sell the property to them.
Okay.
We did write a letter to one of these two properties, I don't remember which one, but we asked them about the possibility of purchasing an easement for a driveway to the rear of the property. But we got no reaction from them.
Okay.
Um,
Can you tell whether that property that you just pointed to is oversized for the zoning?
It looks like it is.
They're significantly sized properties, yes.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Because we seem to be going in circles. I think you need to, you can do it, or you can get a lawyer to help you out on this case. Write a letter to the adjoining property owners that have land in excess of what is required for the zone. And the basic letter will say, you have an application, you have an undersized lot, I'd like to know whether you would sell portion of your property. And in return, you also have to say, in the alternative, you could consider buying mine. And whether you get a response or not, only time will tell. The next one is the number of stories. And you know the definition of a story in the Parsippany ordinance. And you have 4-story building. That'll deal with testimony. We've talked about it, but there's no testimony on it. You've got a de minimis, but you've got a variance for yards and courts. That's testimony to come. You haven't addressed that. Building coverage is slightly over. You'll have to address that. That appears to me that it's just a variance that shouldn't have to be. And impervious coverage, you're quite a bit over. You're almost a third over what is allowed. And that, I think you have to address. And you can talk about your driveway and whatever, but that's testimony to come. I think you have to do the buy-sell so that the board has a reason to approve this application on an undersized lot. Otherwise, they don't.
Well, let me,
I'm not trying to shortcut this, but that's fundamental.
so you don't want me to address any of the other issues tonight? You want me to wait until we have letters?
Well, we don't know whether we're gonna have more land.
Could you put back the other charts just when it's flipped over?
I mean, the guy who's got that long lot
Yeah.
right behind you.
Yeah,
The long lot right
that's where I
behind you.
was going, John. Lot number 3.
Maybe you have
Yeah.
none of these variances, but for the number of stories.
Pardon? That's yours?
Lot 3 on Park Road?
Yeah.
That's me.
That's you.
I have half acre.
Okay. All right, you have a very deep lot.
Yes.
It borders on his property in the back. You want to sell him part of your property? Okay.
So can I ask one more question? You said you did send a letter to one of the residents?
The letter bit is just in testimony and public record that you're not interested.
All right, so right now, let's just talk, in summary, John, quick. Lot 3 owner is here, not gonna sell anything.
Right.
The property to the right is DOT, so that's not gonna be sold.
Well, that's
The other
not
lot-
true.
And I wrote a letter to the owner of Lot 5,
Do you have a copy of that letter?
and I don't know if I have a copy here with me,
But that was for an
but
easement
I
for a
wrote
driveway.
it, and I personally delivered it to the house.
But you were asking for an easement for a driveway, not to purchase a property.
we're asking for an easement for.
Your letter.
What was the letter for?
Yes, I was
An easement
asking
for
for
driveway.
an easement, but he had no reaction at all, even for an easement. So, you know, I can tell you that they keep these properties well. There's a storm drain that comes across that was put in not too long ago that was done at their request to help deal with surface runoff. And we've spoken to this neighbor who is quite friendly and cooperative and happy about seeing something happen. And I wrote to this neighbor, who was the only other one that we could possibly obtain, but you can see that our property only overlaps a short distance on his property. So, and I want to point out that even though we are asking for, it is de minimis variance for building coverage for the deck, for the patio, and for the driveway. If this property was only 13,865 square feet, we wouldn't need those coverage variants. You know, it's a 15,000 square foot, but if the property was just a little bit larger, 13,865, we wouldn't need the coverage variances. And we'd be totally compliant except for this 4-story issue.
And lot coverage.
And, well, I'm saying the lot coverage, if
You get rid of 3 variances, you still have 2.
You know, I think it'd be wonderful to have this family living in our town in that beautiful home, but not in that lot. So you got some issues to deal with. That's where we're at.
Well, I guess as a professional, it's hard for me because we go in and try to design a building according to what the zone requirements are.
Yep.
Okay, then we come before the board, and yes, there's a few things with nomenclature with the stories that we have to deal with, but I think we can deal with that. And it's very slightly over because of the hardship of the small lot, but not very, very slightly. We could even pull that back.
But you could shrink the house.
I'm sorry?
You could shrink the house.
So it's not a hardship.
I mean, it could be shrunk a little bit, but not too much because of the room sizes and everything, the furnishings. I don't think it is too big. You're surrounded with trees and a lot of greenery all around here. Because of the fact that it's a steep hill down, you're only looking at the upper, you're not seeing any of the basement from Littleton Road. And, you know, so we come in and spend a lot of effort to design a compliant building. Yes, it's over slightly, but we could even get rid of those if we had to. We're still, we are not overdoing it. I'm just trying to make that point with the fact that even under 14,000 square feet, we don't have any coverage variances.
But you haven't touched the 4-story issue.
Okay.
Do you need that 4-story? Why can't you?
Let me say a little bit about the 4-story, okay? If this wasn't finished, if there was no sheetrock up here, they would not call that a 4th story, I don't believe. It would be a half a story. There is a definition for half story in the ordinance. And this shape, this geometric shape of a roof meets the definition of half story, but they call it a story because it's going to be occupied and, you know, sometimes someone could go up and see the sheetrock, a finished area. So they're calling it a 4-story.
That would still be 3.5 stories.
Right, well, the other, okay, let me come back to the basement, okay? But I'm just saying, most people would look at this and say, that's not a 4th story. It's a roof with a habitable section of attic, you know, that's,
It's
you know,
3 stories.
even in the building codes, they make a distinction between.
When you put a full staircase in, it certainly changes the perspective of the use of the attic.
We're looking at 4-story, okay, so.
Can't you put down a pull-down stairway? We wouldn't even be having this discussion. Can't you design the house?
How important is the finished portion of the attic to you? They're
It's not
saying,
important. I can't get rid of that.
if we took out the stair to the attic and just put a pull-down stair and had it for storage and
If
mechanical.
that's make everybody here happy, or
But
you
does
worry
it-
about the happy?
Like Mr. Mazzarella says.
It's still over the 2.5 allowed, right? We'd still be talking about having a variance for it, right?
Still an extra story.
Well, I would like a chance to talk about the basement before, you know.
I think Mr. Chadwick basically defined what the story is considered earlier, so we could talk about it, I guess, but
Yeah,
the definition was there.
So if you don't mind, let him define that again, just I would like to hear it, so we, something I can get rid of everything.
He can say what he's gonna say what he's gonna say.
How you find the story? Please, anybody?
We don't answer questions we ask.
It's by the ordinance, the zoning officer already gave her conclusion, so that's the answer.
Yeah, I've come across this before where it's sort of a little bit of a gray area, because if you look at the ordinance, there's a half a story definition, but they have the habit, and they've done this consistently with all the other applications, that when there's sheetrock area and habitable area, and they call it a story because it's a third level of living. So that's fine, we
But
understand that.
everyone on this board or and I'm not speaking for everybody, but it seems as though most people on the board perceive it the same way, and you seem to be trying to perceive it different, but we're the one who's gonna be granting or not granting the variance. So, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe the better idea is to build a house that really is a 2.5-story house or smaller.
Well, the owner just said that he was willing to take away that
But what he
element.
said doesn't solve the issue that several board members are bringing up, that it's still a 3.5-story building.
Well,
Am I right?
I haven't had a chance to talk about that. I would like to talk about it for a moment before concluding. Okay. Let's leave the attic then as an attic, okay? And we'll take away the story there. So now let's call it a 3.5 story building, right? If the basement is a story, right? So, essentially, I think, let me see if I can show you. Because of the way this property slopes down from Littleton Road, it would be almost impossible to get this level, the full basement, further down underground. Because the first floor would then be so low that you couldn't enter it from the front, where it's much higher. You know, it's a geometric issue, okay? So, when we were doing this, we did an analysis along with the engineer, because the ordinance has a definition of basement, okay? And the way, there's a lot of houses like this where you have a slope and then you have a walkout on the one side or a garage on one side and you have it filled on the other sides, right? So the ordinance has a definition where they tell you what you've got to do is take grade points all the way around the building and show that more than half of the perimeter of the building has a distance of 6.5 feet from the grade to the ceiling of the basement. And that's the definition of a basement. If you satisfy that definition, you have a basement, you don't have a story. If you don't, then it's called a story in the ordinance, okay? So, we basically feel that we did comply. We have an analysis which has been submitted to you, which shows that over 50% of the perimeter, basically they took the whole building and unwrapped it and flattened it out onto one plane and did an analysis of the grade and the ceiling all the way around the building. And they meet that definition. I know it's, it's a sort of an academic thing because you never really see it that way. But the fact is that this is what you're going to see, is a 2-story building from the front with an attic now, okay? We won't call it a story. And it does drop off around the building into the garage and the full walkout, like many houses do.
Did you provide that report to the zoning officer with the application?
Yes, it's in the...
And she still determined that...
All of this is part of the application.
And she still determined that that was a story?
But again,
So she's wrong, is what you're saying?
They didn't say that this was wrong, they're just saying, we're gonna err on the safe side and call it a story, because it's an...
They're stating their opinion there, and they're the ones who count.
Were you there when they said that? Again, is that hearsay or is that being made up?
I'm not making it up. I have had these conversations with them, and they're saying that they...
So then it's hearsay?
That they want to call it a story because...
Because it's just, in their opinion, it's a story.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a 4-story that you're thinking about making a 3.5, which is still more than 2.5.
I mean, the real issue is there's lots of finished basements in Parsippany. They don't have 2 bedrooms, they don't have double exercise rooms, they don't have full bathrooms down there. are L-shaped areas called cubbies. My judgment looks like could be readily made into a kitchen. And I think that's why the zoning officer said, this isn't what we normally see as a finished basement. This looks like an apartment. And I don't
Well, they've never
question.
said that.
Huh?
They've never said anything about it looking like an apartment.
I'm surprised.
They just recognize that it's part of a single-story house, a single-family house, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But the fact is that they're coming and going through this garage. And, so they're gonna have like a mudroom effect. That's why we have the cubbies and
Hate to interrupt you, but on this sheet from the zoning department, in the note, it says the construction of a future kitchen, wet bar in the basement should be prohibited. So they are noting that what John said, that it could be readily made into what we're concerned about.
No, not at the bottom.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I often do put a wet bar in a basement because it's
Into a kitchen.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah, we are going in circles again with this.
I'm not
I don't
saying
know
that,
what you wanna do
if you
here.
want to prohibit it, that's fine. I'm just saying that it's, as an architect, with elderly people especially visiting, we do try to prevent having to go up and downstairs any more than necessary. So for example, why should someone in the basement have to go up to get a drink in the refrigerator upstairs when you could have a refrigerator
Or a
and
full kitchen.
Well, I was just gonna say, or a nice little stove, and then they really don't have to go upstairs.
I mean, I think it's a little unfair to project someone as doing something illegal. Yeah, I mean, you're right, you have code enforcement, you have things like this available in Parsippany. And I can tell you that there are a lot of families that do have finished basements with bars and sinks, and they don't rent them out as apartments. And I think it's unfair to try to project that onto this
Now,
fellow.
is that also your expert testimony?
I'm sorry?
Is that your expert testimony?
Yes, I am an expert. I've worked on many houses all through Morris County, and I can tell you that there are many basements where we do have wet bars.
And how about Parsippany?
I've worked in many houses in Parsippany too. I'm trying to think of examples, but we just did one, a new house where I believe we had a wet bar.
And that was approved, the wet bar?
I don't recall, to be honest with you.
It probably wasn't.
Exactly.
It's 10 o'clock. Nora, you have a date we can carry this case?
June 7th.
June 7th. Is that okay with everybody? Are we gonna have any, no, this is not, no, never mind. June 7th to carry the case?
All extensions. And that would be with all extensions, you'd grant all extensions if necessary?
Someone's gotta say yes.
I'm sorry?
Otherwise, we're gonna vote on it right now.
I apologize. Graham, sorry.
Okay.
So you're gonna give us extensions so that you can come back?
Okay.
Okay.
They have something sooner than that, in May or June?
No, unfortunately, the agenda's full. That was my first opening.
Motion to carry this case to June 7th without further notice?
Motion.
With extensions as required. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any other business?
So do you so we will not be noticing again? Exactly.
Okay. Anything else, Nora?
No, there's nothing else.
Motion to adjourn?
And it would be good if you consider
All in
things
favor?
to maybe address some
Aye.
questions.
Anyone opposed? Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Do you want me to send you the zoning law?
They go through here, they by the clock. We bring them, they want to stay away. That's the reason. And I moved to this.
Why not?
7 years ago, this is good.
That's just, either it's nicely or.
I'll see.
But don't make it 4 stories. I'm adding something about this,